a Mid-South / Memphis sound?
Okay, so that's actually where I started making beats. So they're characterized by the predecessors, what they implemented in their own production. So DJ Paul, Juicy J, they and other people like Project Pat created 3-6 Mafia, which actually popularized a new sound coming out of the South, out of the trap per se, of very slow music, like I would say like 120 beats per minute to about 140 at the fastest. And that's very consistent nowadays too. Like that's the main influence that slips by into modern Memphis music. But music from the Mid-South, like Memphis, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi.
Texas too, right?
Yeah, kind of Texas. Yeah, definitely with Pimp C and everything using slower beats. That's definitely a thing. So they're characterized by very dark sounds, very, I would say more darker coming from the Memphis part rather than the Texas. Because in Texas, it was all about pimping bitches and shit like that. And the Mid-South, it started with horrorcore. Like, the original Juicy J was, I'm gonna take acid and I'm gonna melt your face off. So very minor chord progressions, very dark instruments. So you would have a dark sounding piano. You would have the sub bass would be very heavy, and it would be a very driving factor of that music. And I think Memphis music and music from that era that eventually did spread into Atlanta was it popularized the importance of bass, of the 808 in music, because you wanted that trunk shaking. Such a low frequency gives a really dark and eerie vibe if done properly to the tracks.
Who are some people who are coming out of that geographic area who you think are defining that sound? There's obviously Annalie Chapa, who is a platinum selling artist now.
Oh yeah, good for him.
There are people in his group like White Sosa. I know he did the song with Blueface, but Blueface, I would definitely not a Mid-South kind of guy.
So it was just because he got big enough to get a Blueface co-sign, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Duke Deuce is out of Memphis, right?
Yeah, I was actually going to mention Duke Deuce. So Duke Deuce is really interesting because he is popularizing the old school Memphis sound. So that is really in the sample choice, in the vibe, like 3-6 Mafia did a lot of, like I said, horrorcore type stuff, a lot of like, I'm gonna run up on you with the gang. And whereas that has been a consistent theme in Memphis after that, I think the beats that he uses now, they sound very old school Memphis, and it's attracting a new crowd of those people who loved that but then lost faith in Memphis. Well, now they're having faith in Duke Deuce, and the younger generation is playing him in the clubs. Like, he is getting these plays. And dude, I bumped Duke Deuce this morning. I fucking love him, like, for real.
Is Maxo Cream from that area?
He's from Houston.
Okay, so that's Mid-South still.
Mid-South still.
What we're defining as Mid-South, at least.
He would hop on. I would say he would hop on, like, if I handed him a Memphis type beat and he did vibe with it, like what we consider a Memphis type beat, he would hop on it. But yeah, it's like I would say just expanding upon the artist coming out of the Mid-South and stuff. Kivo Money. He's actually a singer coming out of Memphis, and he's adding an R&B taste to those Memphis type tracks. So production from Tay Keith and stuff like that is what people in Memphis look for. And
Tay Keith, class. You got to talk about him if we're talking about Mid-South Memphis type.
Yeah. So Tay Keith, he came up with Block Boy JB. And I would say it wasn't as much his beats, but more so like who he associated with. Them together made a really good dynamic duo. He definitely popularized the Memphis to the rest of America.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, even if he wasn't necessarily the quote-unquote Memphis sound, he still is the one who popularized it. So that maybe means that it's defined based on him, like he would be part of the roots of that, or at least of what we would think of today.